Hey guys, it's Brian Magnozzi here. I want to welcome you to Client Crusher Academy. This is a really cool place and this is a really cool time to be here because there's so many things going on. The internet's changing so rapidly, and one of the most important things, one of the most fundamental things you could ever do for yourself and your business is to build you incorporated, really to build your brand. And that's what we're going to talk about here in the few minutes that we have. Now, these first few videos and these first few pieces of content may not be the most exciting, right? You may just want to jump into the nuts and bolts of stuff or jump ahead, but I'm going to encourage you to stick with me here in these first few videos. Especially go ahead, do these first, because one of the most important things that you'll ever be able to do is, again, develop your brand. It's one of the most critical things that I've done to be able to achieve quite a bit of success, multiple six-figure income per year, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 plus $1,000 months. So it's pretty exciting stuff. So let's focus on this. This, as I said, is all about you. This is you incorporated. Now, at least in the outset it is, okay? This business really should appear that it's all about your potential prospects and clients, but the reality is that the way you need to present yourself is that it's really all about you. And what do I mean by that? Specifically, your value, your skills, what you bring to the table in terms of experience, expertise, so on and so forth. Ultimately, you want to decide what's your UVP or your USP. UVP is unique value proposition. USP is unique selling proposition or unique selling point. What's unique about you? What separates you from the masses? Right? Whether we're talking about offline consulting, we're talking about multi-level marketing, we're talking about lead generation, whatever the case is, okay? Even if you're a local business owner, how are you different than everyone else out there, right? I mean, my dad used to say, how are you different than every Tom, Dick, and Harry? It's kind of funny, actually. But it's true. What makes you so special is a great place to start. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So here's something that's a really important concept. People join other people. I don't care if it's offline consulting or anything else. People really do join other people, not just buy products and services and hook up with companies. They're buying a piece of you, right? Because for me, for example, in my company, Magnozzi Web Marketing, I am the company, right? And what they're getting is not just results or rankings, but they're ultimately getting my expertise. They're getting my value. They're getting my shtick, so to speak, on internet marketing. And the reality is that it can be an extremely profitable and is a very profitable thing, especially when you give people a reason to buy. When you separate yourself, like what we just talked about with your UVP or your USP, it's very easy to do. Now, as I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, it's going to be really easy for you to sort of jump ahead and go, yeah, that's cool. That sounds all great, but let me get to the meat and potatoes. But let me give you just a word of caution, if I may. Having been here, or been there rather, when I first started, wanted to do the exact same thing. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but you know what? I want more customers, or I want my first customer, or I want to learn more about pay-per-click or SEO, or some of the specific strategies, Brian, that you do to bring in, the kind of money that you do. And I'm going to, again, encourage you just to kind of hold up for a little bit and think about, write down, I challenge you right now, and I'm a big guy big believer in action steps. So I'm going to give you an action step right now. Write down, just grab a piece of paper somewhere, right? 3 things that make you unique. What are 3 things that separate you? Guys, you don't need specific experience in selling SEO or selling pay-per-click or internet marketing to local companies to really distinguish yourself from everyone else out there, right? You've got unique life experiences, just like I did before I came here. I was in pharmaceuticals. I was in sales for almost 15 years. I'm not that old, actually. I'm only 43. I had to think about it. I'm 43, but it sure feels that way. I'm like, wow, 15 years. But think about it. That's 15 years of experience before I came online. That's valuable. So don't discount your life experiences prior to you getting started with internet marketing, or in this case, offering offline consulting, right? Makes sense, right? So I hope it does. So write down those 3 things. You just pause this video right now, or depending, you may be listening to it, the audio version of this or reading the book or whatever, but just sit down, stop, pause it. Go write those 3 things down that make you unique, and then come back and we'll finish up, okay? The last thing is don't be afraid to give plenty of reasons of why people should hook up or connect with you. I am not bashful at all about displaying my value. I'd rather demonstrate my value and my expertise than tell people about it. But there is a place and a time that is appropriate for you to demonstrate and to speak about your expertise. Show them you're the pro. Being an expert is really something special. Now, it's not that difficult to do, right? The biggest thing that I get, and I've coached somewhere between 200 and 300 people over the past 5.5 years in a variety of different companies and products and so on and so forth that I've had or been a part of, is that people always want to ask the same thing that I did. If you don't have any experience, if you don't have any expertise, how are you going to demonstrate that you're the pro? We're going to cover that. But I will say this for the moment. It's easy to take 1 or 2 action steps along these lines. It could be as simple, and again, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it could be as simple as, writing, an ebook, right? A couple of pages of an ebook through some training that you've gotten. It could be as simple as, ranking a video. It could be as simple as, doing maybe a couple of those things. Or maybe getting some written testimonials, right? A 1 or 2 liner, like certainly I encourage all of my students to do. Potential customers also are going to believe what you tell them, right? That's really, really important. So when you act like the expert and you have that posture about you, that positioning, they're going to believe what you say. The other thing is, this is a big takeaway. It's hugely valuable. I have found that people do not question what you say oftentimes, especially in the bigger clients. When I've had clients that come in at $2,500, $5,000, $7,500, $10,000 or more, you know what? They don't ask you the really tough questions because most times they don't know what to ask. They're busy running their business. They don't really know to ask you about anchor text ratios. And, they might say, well, what about this, panda or penguin? Because one of their whatever acquaintances or buddies said, oh, you want to make sure, you find out about that. But they really are extremely ignorant about SEO and about internet marketing in general, even when they hire ad agencies. Quote unquote professional ad agencies. These people are inept. They're not marketers, right? They went to marketing school, or they might know Photoshop or, HTML or CSS. But most times that I've found, these are not intuitive or natural marketers at these companies. So they surround themselves with people who think they know what they're talking about. They really don't. So when you come in, you demonstrate your expertise, you know what? You're going to really develop a lot of value. So here are a couple of additional ways. I just mentioned a couple of these things. You could also build a website, like I just mentioned, writing an ebook, shooting a video. Building a website is really, really easy to do, especially if you want to get ranked for like a super easy long tail keyword, like your city SEO expert, right? You could say your city, state name, SEO expert, right? That's kind of a long tail keyword. That's pretty easy to get ranked for. And here's the really cool thing. You don't need to know much of anything about SEO or video SEO, okay, or even copywriting to get these things done, because I know that I've and still do white label SEO for other companies, other SEO experts, right? I'm okay with that. Nobody else needs to know I exist, but you know what? Hey, it works, and it works really well. And I personally have been in that position really about 2 years ago. There was a season where I did all the SEO completely outsourced. I didn't touch it. And then I went back to doing my own just because I wanted some different things to happen. Here's a great example. Look at this right on screen. Syracuse SEO expert. Boom, number 1, right? That was easy to do. I think that took all of like 2 links, something like that, to get ranked. Pretty easy. So here's a couple things to leave off with. It's really your business. It's your choice. You ultimately have the power, so never hand over that power to a potential prospect, client, or whoever. Doing so really could cost you more than a few bucks. Now, if you're part of Project X and NHB, I recently did a module there where I actually mentioned this. And Mike Long had asked me, he said, well, can you tell me a little bit more about them? Like, yeah, absolutely. When you could short circuit your own prosperity, right? And not to mention your own paychecks by literally handing over your own power. What does that mean? That means acquiescing or just cowing down to every demand that a potential customer prospect throws your way. You don't have to do any of that stuff. It's your business. Do what you want, right? So that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm trying to keep these a little bit on the shorter side, give you action steps to take and ultimately help you, propel you toward the profitability and the income that you're looking for. So here's what's happened. What will happen next is if you've got questions, you can email them or Skype me with any specific questions, depending on there are different levels of subscribers. Okay, for Client Crusher Academy. So depending on your level of what you've chosen to be a part of, you can get either email and Skype support. You can join me on the weekly webinars or the one-on-one weekly coaching sessions. So if you didn't buy one of those or hook up with, perhaps the weekly coaching session or the monthly membership, you can certainly upgrade at any time, right? And you can see that right in your back office. Should be on your homepage, okay, or in the bonuses section, one of the two. You can always email me as well. So that said, I look forward to hearing some great successes and great stories of people saying, you know what, I found my own juice, my own mojo, my own power, and I took action on that, and you know what, I feel better about that, and I'm better positioned to be a stronger entrepreneur and a more successful and a more profitable one as well. So take some action on this stuff, and we'll talk soon.